You're listening to the Midwest Motorsports Cool Down Lap, the only podcast covering all 3 series in the league. News, insights, and stories from the track. Buckle up, because the Cool Down Lap starts now.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Cool Down Lap presented by Midwest Motorsports. I'm joined here tonight with James Johnson and Justin Thaler, and we got some stuff to cover, man. It's been a crazy week coming out of Memorial Day, and we had the cars out in Sebring, we had the Cup cars out in Las Vegas, and we had some real racing action over the weekend, too. So we're going to go ahead and hop into the real stuff that's happening. So, James, Justin, we'll lead off with James. What do you got, man, for the This Week in Motorsports?
Oh, I don't even know where to start. We can always start with IndyCar and IMSA. Those guys were at Detroit, not the Belle Isle circuit, the other Detroit circuit. And man, it was bumpy, really narrow. The IMSA cars were Saturday. It was an incredible race. Elbows were up. I don't know if you guys caught any of it, but if you didn't, I believe the replay of that is on Peacock. It's worth a watch for sure. Justin, did you catch any of the IMSA race or the highlights?
Oh yeah, I watched the IMSA race. It was a street fight, man. That was an awesome race. I mean, it was just corner after corner, just rubbing and parts flying. And I mean, it's a typical street course, but I mean, I feel like the last 10 minutes was just a brawl, and it was awesome.
Yeah, Ricky Taylor in the prototypes was slinging the Acura in there, and then I think the Meyer Shank Acura ended up winning on like a last lap or next to last lap pass. But those, the street circuits, when they're narrow like that, you really have to just send it and surprise them on a late break move on the inside. Especially they had a straightaway that was like 3/4 of a mile long, so you can really get into somebody's slipstream, and that really made a difference. There were a couple of bad wrecks too. That was mostly in the Indy car at the end of that straightaway. But yeah, even the GT cars were slicing and dicing. So if you didn't catch it, even the 15 or 20 minute highlights video they have on the Peacock or IMSA YouTube channel is worth a 15 or 20 minute watch.
Yeah, it was really good race.
Let's see if I can catch it on like a replay then on Peacock and such. Formula One, Justin, I know you watch Formula One. What's going on in there? I seen a little bit of controversy coming out of that.
If you're gonna watch Barcelona, which is where they were, Sunday morning, I guess in stateside time, watch probably the first 10 minutes and then about the last 10 to 15 minutes. Nothing much happened. It was a toss up. I think a lot of the surprise kind of came from potential like strategy calls. Usually that's a 2 or a 3 stop race. And I think teams were kind of holding off, trying to figure out. But yeah, there was a late restart. Red Bull, I think, in a really weird turn of events, ended up putting Max on hard tires for like, I don't know, 6 lap shootout somewhere in there. And yeah, he just dropped like a rock. Leclerc got around him on the front stretch right at the start of the lap. And then the turn one terrorist, George Russell, stuffed it in on him. Max had to kind of take evasive action and hit the runoff area to the left. And then the team was telling him to give back the position, and he was kind of arguing with the team. And then I think it'd be, let's see, turn 5, maybe 6. It's the real tight left-hand hairpin kind of at the top of the hill, if you know Barcelona. And I watched the onboard. I don't know really how to calculate how he did it, but he pretty much just sent it right into the side of George Russell. And I think the penalty was a little. The time
Legal.
penalty, I think, wasn't strict enough, but he did get like, I think he's up to 1 point away from a race ban with his license strike. So could be something. I mean, let's be honest, the Rebel team isn't in fighting for anything. I mean, it's going to be McLaren, most likely constructors P1, and P2 is going to come down to Ferrari or AMG. So Red Bull's pretty much out of it. So I don't know if frustration's boiling over there. You know, it was a terrible pit strategy on a late restart to put him on hards. He was just a sitting duck out there. But you know, as talented as Max Verstappen is, he goes and does something stupid like that, and it just kind of makes it hard to ever really defend the guy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
100%, Justin. You got a 10-second penalty, and like you said, after that safety car with like 7 or 8 laps to go, I think they could have had a couple more laps if they'd have just let the lap cars run in the middle of the pack until they caught back up with the field. We could have got at least one
Yeah.
or maybe even 2 more laps out of it. But because it was so close to the end, a 10-second time penalty had a bigger effect on Verstappen this time, or on whoever
Yeah.
the penalty was, because the field was bunched back up. So he went from like 4th to
To
11th
10th.
or something out of the points.
Yeah.
10th, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it really hurt, and he did it to himself. They didn't have any tires because they tried to go on a 3-stop strategy when all the other front runners were on a 2, and it was touch and go. It was close. Maybe without that safety car, he could have held on to a 3rd or 4th. But yeah, but in the chopper view, they told him to let him go, and he gave him the outside on a left-hand corner, which it's not really making him go the long way around, and then kind of lunged so he could said, he had the corner of the apex. He was first to the apex, so
Yeah.
just being a bully kind of thing. And
I kind of though
he did it to himself.
he did, but honestly, like I don't think he should have had to give that position back, because when George come into turn one, per the rules, he didn't, in my opinion, he didn't have control of that car. He kind of forced Max off. In that instance, I don't really think Max was in the wrong. But again,
Well,
he went and did something stupid.
right.
And
just build on. I agree with you that we can disagree with the penalty, but once the penalty has been assessed, then you have to abide by the penalty. Maybe
Sure.
you can appeal it or protest it or do whatever. But once they've made a decision, they've made a decision. It's that like there's no other discussion. This was his form of protesting, was making it difficult on Russell, and the stewards just didn't have. Said, oh, okay, the joke's on us. Well, now the joke's on you. So,
I mean,
I don't know. It's so political sometimes.
Two quick things here. So, first off, going back to last week, we seen what happens whenever you kind of tell the stewards to go shove off in George's case. And we have seen this out of Max before. If I remember correctly, a couple years ago, when he was asked to give Lewis the position back, can't remember the exact race. He let him, take the position back, but he set it up to where as soon as Lewis got in front of him, he executed the pass again. And even the announcers, but the announcers looked at it as, oh, that's cheeky. It's like, okay, you're giving it back, but you're actually giving it back in a position where you can retake the pass.
Yeah, but
I see playing
he's
the
playing
rules
the
and stuff.
game.
I see it, but I can see how that would rub a bunch of people like, oh man, this guy's kind of an ass about this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, man,
That's Formula One.
He's a phenomenal driver. He's uber talented, but he does just the dumbest shit sometimes.
Now, is he greatest driver in the world kind of material?
How many championships does he have?
We're at what, 4 now?
3. He's working on 4.
He ain't getting 4 this year, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Oh man, if they keep up their current rate, it might be a couple years before he sees it again.
He's going to Aston Martin.
You think he's going to
Oh,
Aston? A lot of people are saying Merc, I heard.
yeah, he's going somewhere else than Red Bull, I think, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull needs to just unload them and change gears because Sonoda didn't even get out of Q3. All the other drivers they've tried to pair up with them.
Oh my God.
Carlos, I mean, they can't. Sergio, they can't even. They're having a hard time competing with Max's car, but Max gets it done. So
Now, is
yeah,
that more so they just set the car up and both cars up and kind of like Max's kind of preference, which is probably a wicked undrivable car unless you're Max?
in car design, there's fundamentals, right? I mean, you have the basic things like wheelbase and suspension type, push rods, pull rods. There's several different things that you develop a platform and develop throughout the season on that platform. And the car that they're running now was designed 2 or 3 years ago, just to get to this point. So I think it's the fundamental design concept they've built around their number one driver, which is the 3-time world champion. But nobody seems to be able to drive with those. Saying even if they adjust and change some things to him, the fundamental car is based off of a really like a go-kart. So from
Yeah,
what I understand,
I'm gonna say it now, man. Maybe Checo Perez really wasn't the problem.
right?
I
Looking
just
that
feel
way.
bad for Isaac Hajar. Like if he keeps doing
Yeah.
well, his career is gonna be over because they're gonna stick him in that damn car, and it's gonna ruin him.
Mm.
Like it is the most like I don't know. It's such an odd.
3 drivers now.
It's such an odd platform that they have, but I don't. We don't need to make the whole podcast about
Yeah.
the dilemmas at Red Bull Racing.
We can
It's
have
very
a
interesting though.
we can have a Red Bull Racing special here in a couple weeks, guys. Just be on the lookout for it. Real quick, anything notable in the NASCAR side of things over the weekend? I think
Uh,
trucks, Xfinity, and Cup went.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched the Cup yet, but if you want to spoil it, go ahead and spoil it. I'm in
No,
the
that's
middle of
fine.
like
Are you
stage
sure?
2 right now. I'm in the middle of stage 2 right now.
Yeah, we don't have to
I'm
spoil it.
so
That's all right.
tempted. I'll leave it. I won't spoil it. Rajah got a good win in the trucks. That was
Yeah,
cool to see Rajah Caruth do it.
and
And I love the Nashville track. I think we should do more racing at Nashville.
Allgaier ended up redeeming
Yep.
himself after telling his crew chief no last week. So it's things kind of turned around there. So Cup Series, we aren't going to spoil in the name of JT, but
Thanks, guys.
we've seen some people have some good races. A lot of adversity in that race too. A lot of cars overcoming adversity. Bubba Wallace with his penalty. Kyle Larson with the start of the race basically looking like his day was over pretty quick.
Greatest
Um,
driver.
Hey, you said it. And it's just a lot of and people overcoming adversity that they seems like they've had throughout the whole season. So JT, we'll let you watch that race. It's actually a really good one, and you'll be pleasantly happy with who won the race. So
I
I
do
don't
want to
know,
give a
man.
kudos out to the Prime broadcast. It's
oh
been amazing.
yeah,
Prime's been
awesome.
great.
yep, Prime has been awesome. Real quick, on the announcements before we go hopping into league racing, James, are you at liberty to discuss anything with the All-Star Race Golden Ticket, or just that it's coming in September?
Yeah, sure. I think the cat's out of the bag. I mean, it's pretty cool that Trevor came up with the concept of having an all-star race, and we're still working out some of the details. It's just a one-off race after the season to try to get the trucks and the Cup Oval drivers together. The road's always done a great job hosting off-season and off-week races, and this was kind of Trevor's idea concept, and he pitched it. And like I said, the details are still being worked out, but it's going to be pretty fun if you're just very similar to the NASCAR All Star Race in terms of format. So um, I think we'll wait until those details are ironed out. But basically, very similar to the Cup rules. So if you know what the Cup rules are or the NASCAR rules are for All Star races, then we're kind of piggybacking off that. But again, he's still kind of working on some details. So more details to come soon. But Trevor wanted to go ahead and get the word out now to get people excited about it on the oval
Okay.
side.
Awesome. Well, everybody just again stay vigilant on our announcements tab. We'll have more info coming along as it comes out and stuff with more details and such. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and hop into the road side of things. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. So the road series was out in Sebring. See if I can get my tabs here working. It was out in Sebring last week. Really excellent race. If you guys haven't got to watch it, watch it. There was a lot of racing etiquette that happened in that, especially between the GT3s. A lot of clean passing and door to door racing. And honestly, from what I seen, the GT4s kind of looked like it was a runaway with Zach Alexander basically leading flag to flag from the pole. Am I correct in saying that?
I mean, he had to work for it. I don't know if it was flag to flag or not. We didn't really, from what I remember, he was gone, and so we were watching deeper down the field. Do you remember, Justin? I know you were in it, but
I didn't catch much of him.
I could
Not
have
because
swore I
I
seen
didn't
it
want to, but
basically. Yeah, I could have swore I seen it basically flag to flag. Like maybe during pits he might have lost it, but it looked like he had a pretty insurmountable lead over Cabiltas.
I don't know if you're aware, James. I was fighting for my life for an hour out
you
there.
were, you were in a battle. I mean, with multiple different cars all
So.
throughout the day.
Nobody would just leave me the hell alone.
It looked like it was so much fun, man.
It was. It was out of blast. Had a
But
blast.
all right, well we'll go ahead and get into it. James, man, you want to go ahead and give a quick recap here?
Oh well, I mean, it's impossible to talk about all the action that went on, but it was definitely a battle for the ages. Chase Fincher and um, let's see, I mean Justin Flagg, Johan DeRoy, Shea McNeely, um, all were just having a incredible race. Jason Phillips followed for a while. Michael Odell. Everybody was in their own race. I think one of the biggest dramatic moment was during the first pit cycle. I believe it was the first. It may have been the second. GT3s have to pit twice, and I felt terrible for Chase. I think he had a long pit stop, either missed his box in Daytona or he fumbled on a fuel setting or something happened, and it put him out right in the middle of. He had like a 3 or 4 second lead, and when he came out of the pits, it was right in a GT3 battle. And at Sebring, they're coming out of the pits, take a left, right, drops you off right in the middle of turn one. And the GT4s were battling side by side through turn one, and they split. And Chase tried to thread the needle, and I think it was Aaron Mitchell that he caught as he was trying to thread that needle, and that ended Chase's day, which was really unfortunate. So if you didn't get a chance to watch the replay, definitely check it out. But um, Justin Flagg led a big part of the race with Chase following Johan and Shea. So the top five were all in. Really, Jamil Gummer was in there. I mean, and the
Mm-hmm.
track is long, so they didn't hit the GT4 traffic till 15 minutes in, almost time for their first pit stop. So it was really interesting to see that race as it was played out. But Zach
Yeah.
Alexander drove the pink um, Roxy car, and yes, he took it from the pole and checked out. You gonna say
JT,
something?
do you want
Mhm.
to just give us a quick, I guess, synopsis of how it was driving in that 5-man Congo line? Just before pit stop started, I was watching the stream about 47 minutes to go in the race. It was you, Odell, Barzak, Gummer, and Conaway all in a tight line, trying to keep yourselves away from, I believe it was Steve Gleckner and John Daniels was behind that line by about a second. So, but you guys were basically nose to tail the entire time. I think you were trying to put the moves on Gummer there a couple times, and Odell ended up overtaking Barzak, but it looked like some tough fighting.
Yeah, I mean, to start the race, I was trying to just maintain my tires. But after that, it seemed like Jamil was kind of holding people up a bit. I knew Greg had a little bit more pace, and then once he was able to get around Jamil, he was able to kind of scoot away, and so just trying to maintain the pace, be conscious of my tires, and then I was just kind of figuring out my fuel strategy from there. But it was like that the whole race though, and you know. You live by the traffic and you die by the traffic. There were some spots where I was able to kind of create a gap by using traffic to my advantage, and then kind of just catching guys at a wrong time. But it was just, I mean, it was just constant, you know, try and go on offense, yet, be defensive at the same time and not, you know, get stuck behind somebody trying to make a pass for position and allowing everybody else to catch up. But I kind of let that happen in the last 10 minutes of the race, which was, I guess, fine because it worked out for me.
Yeah, it looked like that if you didn't set your pass up just right, like if you didn't pick the right corner where you could carry speed out, it looked
Mhm.
like if you didn't execute that pass, you were getting passed by the guy behind you. Like
Yeah.
it was that tight of racing. And I seen a couple times when you were driving in that Congo line, you dip your nose out there and you're like, okay, I might, and then just tuck back in, dip your nose out,
Yep.
I might, and then tuck back in. And I'm thinking like, he's probably worried about sticking his nose out there, trying to pull that pass, losing speed, and then losing 3 or 4 positions because of how tight it was.
Yeah. It was
Uh,
tough.
yeah, I mean that kind of racing is exciting though because you have to actually think about the pros and cons of each pass and setting up those pick moves as they'd call it.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I had a riot, man. It was just awesome.
Yeah.
It is
And
so
especially
typical
last,
of. Go ahead. Well, we could talk about the last bit in a second, but I just want to say it's so typical of all of the racing that we've had all season. You know, or I like how you called it Ant Congo line, but really
Mhm.
that's really what it is. The level is so high in both the pros and the AMs that it really is follow the leader and wait for somebody to make a mistake and then see where you're at in the last 15 minutes and then decide how big of a risk you want to take.
hmm
Everybody's so
I mean,
fast in the league. It's great.
there's so many times in Sunset, Jamil and I doored each other two separate occasions because we were just clawing at each other, one trying to get around the other, and it was just a drag race down the front stretch. And I mean, it was a riot. It was it was a lot of fun. A lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Um, James, I know you briefly touched on this about the 40-minute to go mark. GT3 start their pit stop cycles. Shea has a long pit that kind of pulls him out of that lead battle. Jason Phillips jumps him on pit road. Justin Flagg plays the undercut to take the lead from Chase Fincher. Comes up just short with Chase exiting the pits right in front of him, but Chase exit into GT4 traffic, goes 3 wide, I believe, in the turn 2. And one of the GT4 cars either wasn't aware that they were going 3 wide or didn't have enough space there and ends up collecting Chase, sending him off the track into the tire barriers, handing the lead over to Justin Flagg. Um, Effectively, as you said, that ends Chase's day. He runs, I want to say, about another handful, 10 laps or so. And you guys notice that his steering wheel's cocked a little bit to the left, and he ends up parking it. 27-minute mark to go. Now, you guys are clean racing, line to
Mhm.
line. We see Johan DeRoy catch up to Justin Flagg. That battle goes for about 6 minutes until you see going into the last corner. That corner, I didn't realize it was such a great corner for passing until I watched you guys race there.
Mhm.
Um, see Johan dive to the inside in that final turn, but I don't know if Justin didn't announce that he was going into the pits or if he announced it late. It has to cross over Johan, so he has to really get on the brakes because he's on the outside, cross over behind Johan, and go down pit road. So I imagine that lost him, had to lost him a little bit of time to have to adjust to get onto pit road. You guys caught that one on the broadcast, and you said basically the same thing, that that's going to catch him just a little bit of time there, which it did, because as the pit cycles worked out, Johan was able to come out just in front of Justin, and then eventually retain the lead. So, uh, what'd you think of that pass there, James? As they were going into the pits, that was an interesting move. Like I said, I didn't. You guys don't broadcast the communications, and I don't know if he
Right.
announced that he was going to pit or not. But that seemed kind of dicey, man.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You know, I don't know if he called it or if it was a late call, or I don't know what the rule is. Are you supposed to call it when you're on sunset? I don't think Johan would have done that intentionally. You know, I think it was just one of those racing deals. That's been Johan's racing line the whole time, is real tight to the wall, where some
Mhm.
guys would let it go in deeper and out on the brakes and kind of diamond it like you do some of the oval long sweepers. So, yeah, of course, I don't think he did it on purpose. If he did, I don't know if he would tell us or not, but it was really difficult to tell. And again, that's how close these drivers are and how consistent they are. That just the difference in 1 or 2 tenths of a second on an out lap or an in lap could be the difference of that. You know, in lap slowing it down to speed limit, stopping in your box and getting back out on the out lap and rejoining the race. Those 2 lap with the stop, you know, 3 tenths of a difference could make the difference in first and third. You know,
Mm.
Yeah, Flag having to adjust, going from the outside, having to slow down at a faster rate to allow Johan around, and then cut in behind him and make that hard charge to pit road. That could have easily added a couple tenths of a second to his pit stop. Where Johan, I imagine, had a pretty clear shot to pit road, so it worked out in his favor. If I remember correctly on the rules, though, that's a courtesy having to call that. So uh,
Mhm.
I don't believe you guys require that, right, JT?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
not in the
So
road.
yeah, it
On
could have
road.
been, it could have been something where he didn't call it and didn't expect Johan to kind of stick it in there. But knowing Johan, if there's an opening, man, he's going for it.
Well,
All right, about 20-minute marker to go. GT4s, you guys start to see them guys battle. Kyle Ryan takes Nicholas Aslin. Nick kind of bobbles it coming out of the S's. Gives him an overtake opportunity, and Nick Moffitt and Cody Hitt battle for third place down the front stretch. As these battles are unfolding, Johan goes to pit, beats Justin Flagg, who attempted the undercut, and Johan's able to retain that position by just under a second. And you guys race like normal people for the next 15 minutes. uh, Under 5 minutes ago, this is where it kind of gets nuts. And James, if you want to hop in at any point and cover this stuff, you can. But this is what I've seen. So Justin, our very own Justin Thaler and Jameel Gummer battle. This
yeah,
goes on for. Go
well,
ahead.
let me start.
Yeah, go ahead.
It,
You were in it.
I felt so terrible because he was coming out of the pits, and I swear, I don't know if it was just I was in the battle with everybody behind me. I was pushing to try and clear him because he pit or what, but I don't know if I didn't hear Jim or if he didn't say it at all, but Jamil was coming out of the pits, and if how the blending is out of turn one. I mean, you're right
Yeah.
at the edge of the apex, and I doored him, and I came over the mic because I had no idea he was there. It was just at the last second, it was car right, didn't know anything about it, hit him. So I'm glad, that didn't shunt him off into the wall and ruin his race. But I came over the mic and I was like, go ahead and take the position. And he's like, nope, you keep going. We're going to figure it out. And I was like, all right, well, he got me at the end, but I'm glad he did. I was planning on giving him the position back, but he drove away and I felt terrible about it. But he must have been having fun because he was like, no, let's get on with it and we'll sort it out, in a couple laps or whatever. So I
Yeah,
was glad of that.
let's recap that just a hair here, if you're fine with that. So after you two kind of get in door to door, did he end up giving you a bumper to the bumper a little? Give you the old chrome bumper to the rear a little, and into the next
I
set of
don't
corners?
I think I was just trying to regather it right after I kind of nudged him because I, I was trying to give him the position. He kind of said no. So I was like, all right, well, now you need to get it back on it. And then it was like, damn, here's the breaking point. I'm going to overcook it. And then, the Mustangs if you kind of overdrive a corner or, hold the brakes too long, it takes a good corner, 2 corners for those things to grip back up. So it was just hanging on, at that point.
Yeah. And not intentionally bumper you, like, hey man, just so you know,
No,
it's there.
I
Maybe
mean,
like an accidental kind of love tap in the rear a few times.
probably deserved it if that was the case.
So as you guys battle, it goes on for about a lap or two, and then it spills out to the front stretch where you guys have to overtake 2 other GT4 cars. You take it 4 wide at
Had
the
to, man.
start. What's going through your mind there? Like, are you like, okay, we
Mhm.
gotta get this pass done, and then going down to turn 1, like, I got to figure out where he's at and get this
Yeah.
situated because, yeah, that spilled over in turn 1, if I am correct. Like,
Yeah, again, I mean, you got to take it if you can try and take advantage of traffic, you have to.
of course, you know who really took advantage of that traffic?
Yeah, who?
Steve.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
Steve lost out to me at the end, so I don't
Yeah,
think it
oh, he
matters.
did. He did, but the amount of ground he was able to make up on you two in particular as you're sorting it out amongst yourselves. Because you see
He was loving
Jamil.
it.
Oh, I'm sure. You see Jamil going down in turn 1. He puts it on the inside and he's able to execute that pass on you, and then Steve's right on your rear.
Mhm.
And I believe it was heading down into turn 2, possibly 3 as a follow-up is when, Steve decides to reinforce the doors on that Porsche with a little bit of Mustang.
Tried.
He was in front
Yeah.
of you guys for a while. It was
Uh-huh.
great to see Steve. I think like he timed his pit stop just right where he came out in front of you. I think he was one of the last GT3s to pit. So when he did come out, he was just in front of you and Jamil, and then you had to work to get around him. And then I think you came up on a lap car coming onto the long back stretch, and it was a yellow Porsche
Yeah,
GT4, and he
think
kind of
so.
spun himself out trying to get on the power, and you and Jamil waited, and that might have been just enough to hold you up for Steve to make his play, and then it was a 3-car conga line for the last 6 minutes, and it had to be fun. I was really proud of Steve, to feel like he found his form again, or at least
Mhm.
we caught it on the broadcast when he was having a good race.
Yeah, I mean, him and I were battling, and I wasn't gonna let him have it and get away with it. So, I mean, yeah, it was just a blast. It's like you said. I mean, it makes me so happy to have him. You know,
Yeah.
like you said, finding that form again. So it's good to see that confidence and everything else. And it's a riot racing with him because you can fight him hard and he's not gonna pile drive you or run you off the track or I mean he's gonna fight, but it's always gonna be clean.
And
Yeah.
credit to Jamil too, because there was a couple of times where I thought you guys were gonna have contact and somebody was gonna get pit maneuvered, but you didn't, and it was great, man. It was so much
Yeah,
fun to watch. It was exciting.
yeah. Jamil's awesome. Super cool.
Yeah, just real quick side note on that. I believe the switch from Steve going from Corvette back to Porsche probably gave him some of that confidence back because that man rips it in a Porsche. So I think it's allowing him to be a little bit more aggressive instead of having to figure out a new car.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve decides to outline the Porsche with a little bit of Mustang door on him. Takes P8 and bumps you to P9. It looks like he has that battle won. Like, I believe you fall back to about 3/4 a second, half a second back. Like on the broadcast, it looks like you kind of lose pace there for a little bit, which could be that Mustang regathering some of that speed. But coming down to the last lap, that's when that's when the Thaler Hansel battle really takes off. Johan's checked out. He has a pretty much a second lead on flag. Wins the race. Same with Zach Alexander and the GT4s, has a commanding race. That's why we haven't talked about GT4s much there. Zach Alexander has a commanding race, ends up winning the GT4s class of the race. But Thaler and Hansel, last lap battle, and this, I kid you not, is a battle all the way up to the checkered flag. JT, walk us through this, man. What was going through your mind as you're trying to set up these passes on that Porsche?
So I knew he was kind of weaker in the S's coming to the backstretch. So I just knew if I could stay and I mean through all that sector of the track I was about to wear his bumper out. I was sticking with him hard and I just went and we got a replay here. I mean, they're rebang. This is 2.5 minutes, roughly a couple laps, but I'm just trying to stay with them, pressure them a little bit, but cleanly and right through here. I mean, I felt quicker than him. And then, coming up to that backstretch, I knew that I could probably back my run up just a hair and then be able to just pull him down the straight. And I think I went to the inside on the corner, coming into Sunset, and was able just to slow the car down enough, get it to rotate enough, and then it was just
There you go.
from there it was just powering out. So yeah, I think this is we're coming up to the last. I don't know if that's the white flag. Yeah. So it was just an awesome battle, and then yeah, there was that yellow Porsche GT4 that was really running the traditional racing line, but I was like, all right, well, I mean,
There you
I'm
go.
gonna, yeah. So I'm just again trying to wear him out, staying with him, but he had a good defensive drive, but I'm like, dude, get on with it. But was able to get him down the backstretch, pull enough where I was able to get down the inside into Sunset, and then it was all on just holding that inside tight. So I don't know. I crossed him over. It looks like I
Yeah.
crossed him over and then pinned him here. I mean, it was still close, but I think like I said earlier, you kind of live by the traffic or you die by it sometimes.
Yeah, I think he ended up touching that wall a little bit there too. Coming to the checkered. Yeah.
When he initially got around me down into the hairpin, to start all this, he literally said to me, "See you later, nerd." And at that
Oh,
point, that's all he had to do, man. I was like Michael
in fighting
Jordan.
words.
That's all he had to say. He made it personal. So I had to show him what it was all about. But it was, and he loves, like, I don't know why he just doesn't drive it, because he thinks the Mustang is like the best sounding car in iRacing, and he just loves, like, if I'm in front or behind, that's all he can hear. And I just, this whole race, I just really wanted to make him happy, so he had to listen to the droning of my Mustang GT3. So
Yeah.
I'm just
One
kidding,
thing
he
I
hates it.
one thing I want to point out there on this replay you have going there. Can we just take a second to point out Mike Odell, man, making up 14 positions?
Yeah, I mean, there's no
Did he have a
stopping him.
pit lane start or
Yeah,
did he not
EOL.
qualify?
Yeah, he had an EOL for a. He went back to the Corvette, so per the rules, he had to start at the rear, and I mean, he did that all with a 0S too, or a 0X too. So good
Yeah.
on him.
Yep. Respect the work there, man. Great job. So you guys survived Sebring. Where's the Road Series off to next week?
Barcelona.
Circuit Barcelona de Catalunya.
Oh, wasn't F1 just there? Were we just talking about that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the racing's going to be better than what F1 put on.
Well, I don't know.
Guaranteed. I mean,
So,
F1 wasn't a bad race, but with 40 cars and 2 classes, I don't think it's going to take a lot of good racing to beat what we got going on here in the Road Series.
for
All
sure.
right.
So, congrats then to our winners, Alexander in the GT4s and DeRoy in the GT3s. I'm going to go ahead and throw up the pro side of the points here real quick. Chase Fincher still got the lead there. Mike Odell 259 points behind. Justin Gleckner, man, up in the top 3. 469 points behind the lead. Johan 1 point behind Justin Gleckner. John Daniels 2 points behind Gleckner, 1 point behind DeRoy, and then you got Shea about 53 points back. Justin, you're back there in 7th, 17 points back of Shea, and Steve Hansel's right behind you. So that battle kind of worked out in a way.
Yeah, I had to miss a race already, so that's doesn't help my case.
Yeah, that's going to be a drop race, I imagine.
Yeah.
And you got Wahlberg and Phillips rounding out the top 10. That's on the pro side. AM side, Zach Alexander's putting on a show with Kyle Ryan there in a close second, 67 points behind. Nick Moffitt, 134 points behind the leader, 67 points behind Kyle Ryan. Then you got Nick Aslin in 4th, Ron Cabiltas in 5th. Rick Bundren 6th, Troy Nissen 7th, James Zangy in 8th, Cody Height in 9th, and Kevin Bridges in 10th. So that's your AM points there, guys. And like we said, they're out to Barcelona next week. Is that a regular race or an endurance?
Just
A regular 1 hour.
Okay. Next Tuesday, guys. Well, actually tomorrow. Tomorrow, guys. So I get so wrapped up doing the recap, and then it's like, all right, next week, and it's no, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yep. So
Less than
Spain.
24 hours, Anthony. Does that help you?
That does. Spain in 24 hours, guys. All right. So real quick, I'm just gonna say congrats to our truck winner from almost a week and a half ago. Dustin Reinstedel won out at Vegas. They were off last week, and since we didn't do the podcast in for Memorial Day, here's a couple minutes of spotlight for Dustin. Even though he doesn't need any more spotlight, the man wins enough. Truck points: Sanders in 1st, Mike Scamilla in 2nd, 4 points behind Sanders. Nick Aslin in 3rd, 10 points behind. And then you got a bunch of 1-pointers there. Jason Phillips in 4th, Ron Schaummer 5th, Ian Silva 6th, James Lavison. Good job, man. 7th place. Justin Thaler back there in 8th, Keith Hurlbut in 9th, He's one of the road guys that came over. Him and CJ Barzak holding down the last 2 spots in the top 10. Good job, guys.
It was a pretty great race. A couple of cautions early, but after that, fuel strategy and tire strategy played out. And then, yeah, check the stream out. It's worth the replay. It was a good race.
Mm-hmm.
Big field, 20
Oh,
trucks, I think.
all right. So Cup Series was out at Vegas on Sunday. So last night. What was it Justin asked not to ask him before we started this podcast?
I mean, you can go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
allowed to have
how was
feelings
your
too.
race, man?
Great until the final corner.
Oh, we'll do a recap here, and then we'll get to the final corner. We'll get to the last lap of the race. But as you can see, Sean Cunningham came away with the win, and what I would say was kind of a dominant race for him. Anytime you'd see the lead, there was only 3 cars maybe that were up there, based on speed alone, which was Sean Cunningham. You seen Dylan Fox up there, and T Mac. I'm just going to start calling him that until he wins. T Mac was up leading the race too, um, at times, and I'd say those are probably 3 of the faster cars. James, you can kind of correct me if you think any differently
Well,
there, but
Landon Sprinkle had the
Mhm.
pole position lap, and he was up there with them all night long. And I don't know if he came just from the roadside, if this oval racing is new to him, but it sure didn't look like he was a rookie um, last night at Vegas in a Cup car.
Mhm.
yeah, no, that's true.
So
I forgot to mention he had the pole.
yeah, and he hung right in there with them all the way up to the end. I think he still came out with a good finish. So, but again, Vegas, a mile and a half, a little more banking, so a little bit tighter than it wasn't like a Michigan race, but they did fan out, 3 and 4 wide, um, and a couple of inadvertent cautions. Not sure, a lot of people are hitting the safer barrier on the exit of 2 and sometimes on the exit of 4, but I think almost every track where everybody's trying to get, I mean, I saw it at Charlotte and saw it, just about everywhere we go now. It seems like everybody's pushing the limit right on the line with the track and the safer barrier. So,
I'm gonna
um,
throw it out there just because y'all see the 15 do it and you think it's a good
uh
idea, just you don't
yeah,
have to.
I call it the Eric Thaler line. I said it on the broadcast more than once.
Yep. Anytime there's smoke, paint, and anything next to the wall, that's what's coming up in the broadcast. The Eric Thaler line. And
Yeah,
normally it's the 15 causing it. So, um, first part of the race, I was kind of surprised to see that big multi-car wreck, wrapped up T Mac, Vanderlyn, Jay Huffman. Sorry, there's 2 Huffmans, so I'm just going to call you Jay Huffman. Ty Williams, Locke, C Huffman, other Huffman, and Brandon Thayer. I mean, that was a pretty big wreck that looked like it was just caused by not enough space. 5 cars, 6 cars involved in that?
yeah. I
Especially
think
early in the race, 12 laps in.
yeah.
It was quite a
It's
few.
just
I go ahead, James. Sorry.
no, it's good. I think we're gonna say the same thing. It's just arguing over real estate. Everybody's trying to get the best that they can, and I know it wasn't intentional, but I think um, Vanderleen got came across the nose of somebody 3 wide. He wasn't expecting him to be there, and that sent chaos. I think it was Trevor Mack. Trevor was following somebody, and Vanderlee went to get around Trevor as Trevor was dropping down to get onto the apron. So I believe, if I recall correctly, but they were still in a bunch in a pack, and it caught the 83. I think the 83 barely got away with it, but it definitely caught Ty Williams and um, Jason Huffman. And there's another Texaco car. It wasn't. It's Denny
Uh, maybe Denny Lock. Yeah.
H. Denny Lock. Yeah, it may have got some of it. So, um, and then Colin Uffman spun and hit the inside wall on his way, trying to avoid. But that was early in the race, and I think it kind of gave everybody a reset. But it was definitely some guys had to use their fast repairs before they would like to, I think.
For sure. And just kind of going back to what you're saying, you had like a nest of cars on top of each other. Up to that point, up to lap 12, I believe it was like 9 of the top 10 cars were all within a second of each other. So it was some really tight racing. JT decided to kind of drag it a little at the start, so he's about a second and a half back. But after seeing that, great strategy call, Justin, to kind of hang back and not get involved in that. So have that caution. I want to highlight something real quick. We did see Clarence Prince assume the lead following that caution. Great job, Clarence, getting yourself out there and leading some laps, getting a bonus point. And it wasn't just, laps under caution he led there. He actually held the lead for, I'd say, about 7 laps until the next caution, which was between Sprinkles and Locke. They ended up getting tangled up on corner exit of 4. But good job, man, going out there leading some laps and actually leading them strong. So it was good to see that 83 Red Bull out front getting some laps led. Fox, who had to start from the pits, ends up taking the lead on lap 28, bringing us back to green. But it's only for a couple laps as Cunningham charges past him, and everybody goes back to single file racing. So there really wasn't much action going on when you guys broke down the single file. Now, is that just a question for you? Is that just a product of the kind of like racing line there? Or are you guys trying to save your stuff? It wasn't like it was nonstop passing action at points. It was kind of like, okay, settle down, we'll go single file.
No, I think it all just came down to where your tires were and what you did to best manage and be able to maintain your pace with, the state of your tires. And the only thing I can say is, I noticed once you put about, if you kind of manage your tires good, they felt pretty good for quite some time. But if you really were pushing hard for longer than maybe you should have, then once you got about 20 laps or so on your tires, they were slippery.
Kind of fall off was really noticeable.
Yeah, the grip just didn't hold up. So yeah, it was kind of tough. Depending on, like I said, how you decide to manage your tires.
Oh, for sure.
Right,
That's
3
if you're
sets of
managing your
tires.
tires. Okay.
Right, 3 sets on the wall, and then the one you
2.
start with. So after those 2 sets on the
We had
wall,
2 sets, 2 extra sets. That's all we had. Yep.
Dang.
so
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
fun.
if you're managing your tires, which there's a couple drivers out there I know don't manage them. They just run them till they're down to cords and throw a new set on. All right, so lap 46, caution goes back out for Aaron Holroyd and Colin Huffman getting tangled up. Lap 50, we get a Thaler front row. So Eric and Justin decide to not pit or pit and just put fuel in. I didn't catch that part.
I think we just
fuel only.
Yep.
Okay. What was going through your guys' minds?
Tires.
Save them.
Yeah, I mean, it just came. I mean, it was still kind of early, I think, for us, and to be able to just have that pace, just save your stuff, and if your pace falls off a little bit, but you don't, you're not in jeopardy of getting lapped or anything, then you can make that up with the offset for the guys who took those earlier tires.
Yeah, and you're kind of expecting those guys who took the tires to either
come back.
To either baby them or burn them quick. Again, there's some people out there that don't save tires. Yeah, and that front Thaler front row didn't last long. I believe you were on the outside, and for some reason, it was like somebody tied cinder blocks to your car off the start.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, hell, I got beat up. I don't know if it was that restart or not, but I know Landon got into me. Somebody else run me up, and so it was just trying to. I mean, hell, I thought I was just trying to tell everybody I was not going to just stick to the high line. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to dive it down in there knowing it wasn't going to do me any good. So yeah, I just tried to stay up there. I mean, nobody caused any damage or anything, and I think Eric at some point, one of the times he decided to scrape some paint, did cause him some wheel. He had some pretty severe wheel damage.
Oof.
He was fighting to yeah, he said he was turning the wheel like almost 180 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was in rough shape.
Yeah, so that battle didn't last long. Sean Cunningham overtakes Eric Thaler for the lead. We're moving on to lap 53. Dylan Fox takes the lead over Sean Cunningham. Uh, all the drivers with new sets of tires. You're seeing a lot of 2 and 3 wide action throughout the field, with people with tires trying to get positions. And in this, you see Clarence Prince attempt to pass on Holroyd, and we've seen this a couple times at Vegas last night, where you feel like the pass is complete, but you start to go down, and that driver's nose is still there, uh, which causes Clarence Prince to have to save the car. And I tell you what, man, that save was epic. Great work by Prince to save that and not draw a caution. I know a lot of people in their minds, okay, well, I'm going around, so I'll just let it go and let the caution come out. That dude wrestled that car through, I believe it was turns 3 and 4, and still wrestled it onto the straight stretch just to straighten that thing out. Lost a lot of positions, but he kept it straight. You guys caught that one on the broadcast. Great job catching that.
Yeah, it's
Clarence
a
is
lot of fun.
just a great stand-up guy.
Oh yeah, great dude. He'll race you, as we're going to talk about later in the
Yeah.
in the breakdown. But he's a good dude. We've seen some battles between second to fifth place right around lap 68 70. T Mac closes the gap on Fox. Tries to go out for a pass, stalls out a little bit on the aero side of things, and Sean Cunningham sees it as an opportunity to put a pass on him for second. Goes in, cooks the corner for a crossover, but again, overcooks the corner just a little bit and washes up high, so it gives T Mac that position back. It was a pretty good battle to watch, so that's why I got highlighted there. I didn't really see much up until the end of the race. After that, it looked like lap 100. T Mac, if you're listening, I'm sorry, man, but lap 100 pit stops happen, and speeding penalty on pit road kind of eliminates T Mac from any contention. Fast car guy could have won it this weekend, but we all get caught with those speeding penalties. 1 mile per hour over, man, and they nail you, and it basically ends everything. So sucks to see that. Hopefully next race he can come back with some speed like he had here at Vegas, and get a win under his belt. During these pit cycles, we see Cunningham battle with Clarence Prince, who wants to stay on the lead lap. And Clarence puts up a heck of a fight. I mean, he runs basically the same speed as Cunningham. Cunningham can't pull the pass off, so he finds it better just to kind of hang behind him and manage that gap between himself and Fox. 17 to go, we see Cunningham pit. From there wasn't any action up until the last lap. Cunningham comes across the finish line, wins the race. Were you in third place and Fox was in second, or were so you both got knocked out of the podium?
Third.
No, I
This
was
is a
in
battle for
third.
third.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
and Fox is
Yeah.
fourth. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Podium position, Justin Thaler going for third. From what I seen, you go down into the corner. You have speed on Fox. You go down to the corner. It kind of looks like he just sent last lap. if I can get this pass and make this stick, I'm getting third place and it just doesn't stick, washes up, takes you out. He ends with like 8th place, I think, and you go back to 14th, 13th. So that's got to chap behind a little bit. After the kind of day with the ups and downs and coming home with a 3rd place and just on the last lap, last set of corners kind of get taken out of it. But James, is there anything in that breakdown I missed that you kind of want to recap?
No, you did a great job. Thanks, Ant. I'm glad you came a lot more prepared than I was. But yeah, that final run down to the end, I don't think it was egregious or intentional for sure. It's unfortunate that it worked out that way. I will say that we've all been there, especially early in the league, where you're trying to make a name for yourself, and you might let the red mist get to you a little bit and go right to the chat, and that's just not always the place for it. I think there was a lot of constructive words that kind of let Dylan know that this is a place where we're all here to have fun and not jab at each other. It's just a fun rec league. And that we've all been at that point, both ends of it.
Wait, don't use the word wreck.
I think
REC.
Don't use
wreck. Use it. Wreck or wreck.
I think we're right after the race, recreational.
There you go. Yeah, it's a rec league. It's a rec league. No. After the race, I think I came in and said, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield. And it gets old being the bug, but Vanderlee got a bump up from 5th to 3rd and got to interview with the broadcast team for the first time. So there's always a bright side of the leaf. I know it's unfortunate for Justin. We'd love to talk to you, Justin. You won this year already, so we've talked to you in the booth. Let's get some fresh blood in the booth.
Well,
no,
I got my opinions, but I'm not gonna say them.
Yeah, it's all right, man. We've all been on both sides of that wheel. So just remember that the Discord is a fun place for us to all get together and not take ourselves too seriously. So I think he's self-corrected, and we'll see how the race plays out next week. But I think he gets it.
So I'm gonna ask some opinions here. We're gonna go back a little bit here.
Wait till you.
No. Different. So Justin, we'll start with you, and then James. I kind of got a little bit of your feedback on the broadcast, but I'll ask you and see if your thought process is kind of the same. So Justin, you're a lapped car, and the leader comes up on you, and he's going to execute a pass. Let's say there's not a car within sight that's in danger of going down a lap. Do you let the leader by, or would you let the leader by? And this is strictly opinion. Would you let the leader by, or would you race to maintain your lead lap position? How would you manage that, man?
I'm gonna hold what I think is the best line to stay ahead of the leader, because it's no different than there's no predictability when you're gonna get a caution, and I don't think Clarence wasn't doing. Are we talking about Clarence? Is that?
It's in Clarence's. Yeah, it's in Clarence's situation. But I want to see from your perspective how you would handle it.
I didn't see anything wrong with the way it was handled. There wasn't any blocking. There wasn't any mirror driving. It was, if you're the leader and you're going to be that much quicker, then get around the guy cleanly.
Yep.
Well, that caution comes out, he's good. Or if he doesn't want to be the second guy to go a lap down, or the third guy, and not be able to get it. If you can be respectful about it, if it's hard racing, it's hard racing. There was nothing that I saw that was egregious whatsoever.
Yeah, nothing egregious. I can agree with that.
I mean, if the guy's weaving, not holding the line, going up and down the track, whatever, then
a
it's one
menace.
thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's one thing.
Like if you were trying to
But
lap me.
Clarence isn't that kind of guy. You know, I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it.
I agree. James, what's your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be the one to hold a guy up, but at the same time, he might be holding me up, and I'm still in my race. So I think he has the right. If we're talking about Clarence specifically, I didn't see Clarence doing anything wrong.
Mm-mm.
And now, if he was holding up the leader, then maybe. But he raced everybody the same way, and I think that's important too. It's
So
not
what?
just the leader,
I
but you're
mean,
racing everybody that way.
yeah, he wasn't wasn't racing anybody differently, but so if I pit 10 laps earlier, I'm a lap down. Am I supposed to just let everybody just breeze on by me?
No. And I think that's the conversation that
Yeah.
people need to understand more of. If you are the leader and you're the faster car, you should be able to execute that pass. I get, if he's taken the preferred line, which is what we established a couple seasons ago, was if you're a lapped car, and the leaders are coming, there's a preferred line. There's a line that we want the lap cars to be on. I don't know if that was established last night, but it looked like, he was able to hold his own, which is good for him. And if he isn't doing anything egregious, like he isn't going up blocking, going into the corners, or say he's radically changing his line to block you, I say let it race, man. He's kind of like, the way he was running that was kind of like the Ryan Newman on the oval side. Just, you know, you
You
can
just can't
get
let
to
that
his
ride
side.
in, can you?
No, you can get to the side of the guy. You can try and pass him, but he's going to make it hard. And it doesn't matter who the leader is. If it's second place, third place, fourth place, he's going to make it hard. And he has every right to. I mean, it's not like he's running 10 to 15 miles an hour slower. He's running race speed as the leader. And he's not holding the leader up per se. He's running the same pace as. Now, I mean, if he was running a little bit quicker, and this is just coming from me, my personal, if it was me behind the wheel, like if I feel like somebody's holding me up and I'm getting through the corners and stuff, I might give him a couple love taps and be like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah. And at
I'm
that point,
faster.
I guarantee they're going to get out of the way.
Oh yeah, they're probably gonna get out of the way. They might do a little, man, what the heck was that about? But it's like, I'm here, man. I just want to let you know
Yeah.
that I'm a little bit
Yeah.
faster. Here's some love
Yeah.
taps to let you know. But I hand those things out like candy on the tracks. Like you pass me,
Don't I
if you
know?
if you pass me at Michigan and I get a run, I'm gonna give you some love taps down the back, get you down the back stretch a little bit quicker. Like,
The
it's
chrome
it's
horn.
the yeah, exactly. It's just to let you know, hey, I'm still here. I appreciate that move. But yeah, you keep running your race, Clarence. If you're listening to this, or when you do listen to this, you're out in the shop running that impact wrench or whatever it is you do for a living. You keep running your race, man. We appreciate that.
I'm an
So
accountant.
I'm an accountant. Oh, you're cashing them checks and writing down all them zeros. Keep running that race, man.
Yeah, don't sweat.
All right. Points. Sean Cunningham assumes the lead after that strong win out there. Congrats again on the win, Sean. But he assumes the points lead 2 races in. So again, this can change radically. Nick Aslin there in second. Justin, you're back in third. Brandon Thayer fourth. T-Mac fifth. Dylan Fox sixth. Seventh, Jason Huffman. Marcus Vanderlee is in eighth. And Aaron Holroyd ninth. Clarence Prince back in 10th. Again, you guys can look at that and see how tight the points are. It's only 2 races in, so it's going to change up quite a bit over the course of the next couple races. We cover everything, guys. Anything you need to get off your chest? Anything?
I miss having you on the track. It pains me
Yeah.
to say it.
Oh, dude, I tell you what. Yesterday was impossible, but it's Cup isn't racing this weekend. We're off.
Hmm.
Oh man, this schedule is killing me. So
Don't complain to me.
I know it's like the one season I don't make the schedule, it goes against me. So but yeah, Cup's off this week. Trucks, you guys are back on this week. I believe you are out at Indy. So this
Yeah,
Friday,
Indy.
this
Yes,
Friday,
sir.
8:30 p.m. Y'all start out at the session time out at Indianapolis.
Can't wait to fall
So
asleep on that race.
yeah, well, we'll leave it at that. James, you got anything, man?
No, there's been some really good racing this season so far, and I'm happy to be back in the broadcast booth and involved in the league. Thanks to everybody for allowing me to do it, and thanks to all the Midwest Motorsports admins to make this league great. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Been
great job,
awesome.
admins.
You know what? As you bring that up, there might be a little surprise coming for our Road Series drivers, so stay tuned for an announcement. And there also is a
Uh-oh.
poll up. So we have the midseason poll up. So make sure you see you go into the poll channel the uh in the Discord there. There's the poll for the midseason for kind of where we're at, gauge kind of what we're doing, how you like it, what maybe will change for next season, but there also may be a little special new thing on the horizon. So stay tuned for that.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of new thing on the horizon, I thought I know we were just about
What
ready
is
to end
this
the
about?
podcast, but when the heck did we get a coaching hub down in the Road Series?
Well, there goes the surprise. Thanks a lot, Anthony.
It's in the Road Series. Oh wait, is am I the only person that can see it?
You're an James, can we hire some professionals or like
Great job to the admin team.
Let me know if you find any professionals
yeah,
around
seriously,
this
good
lot.
lord.
We're all
Oh
professionals
god.
here, man. Wow.
Way to go, Anthony.
We'll have to go back and scrub that one from the old podcast, but if we knew how to do that, if we were professionals, we would. Anyways,
Stay tuned. You
before,
never know what you're going to hear on the cool down lap.
yeah,
So
before I
Yeah.
if you did
break any
listen,
other news,
you get a sneak peek if you're listening.
Damn it, Anthony. I just said how much I miss you, and there you go.
you know what you should do is you should probably send me a message prior to all this stuff happening, like, "Hey, top secret stuff, don't talk about it. This is okay."
I mean, you could have just not said anything.
Yeah. Well,
It
anyways,
was
I
kind
see
of my
something cool.
my thunder there.
Yeah, I see something cool and I hop into it. So, that's all. That's all I got. Before I ruin anything else this week, we are going to wrap the podcast up with that. So, everybody have a great week, and we'll be back at it next Monday unless JT fires me. So, catch y'all then.
Don't forget to stay in your lane.
And I approve of this message.